Welcome back to another video. Hope you are having a great day. And today with a matrix. And by matrix, it's not the movie itself. It is a matrix where we can connect up to 6 devices and then output up to 2 devices maximum. It does 4K at 60 Hz and it can be very handy in some situations which I will share with you. Now it will work on any operating system that we use: Android, macOS, Linux, Windows. And if you are using Windows, by the way, don't forget to check out KeysFan, where you can find budget official OEM keys at an affordable price, and with the coupon code that you can see on screen and down below in the video description, it will get a bit cheaper. So just in case, the link will be down below just next to the KanaaN matrix. Now, one of the scenarios that I see this very handy is if you have only one TV on your living room, but you have several devices like your PlayStation, your mini computer with server and multimedia server and so on and so forth, and you also have an Android TV box and an Apple TV and other devices, and probably you only have 4 or 5, but you want to future-proof yourself, then 6 inputs is great for that. But the 2 outputs, you might say, okay, this is too much for me, I only have one TV. But what if you want to have a mini display like some that we have seen right over here, just on a drawer, and you don't want to interrupt what is on your main TV, but you want to manage your computer, you want to manage your PS5 or whatever device that you want, then you just remove the display, which is connected to the output B, for example, and you will be able to do so. Another scenario where I see this very useful is if you have a living room and a kitchen divided by a wall, and you want to have a TV on one side, a TV on the other side. You have 4 or 5 devices and you want to use them on both TVs, and you want to select right on this side, I want to play my PS5, and on this side at this moment I want to watch TV on my Android TV box, and later on you can swap them. Then this matrix right over here is a great for that scenario. Now, one thing that I should mention as well, we have seen plenty matrix, HDMI switches, KVM switches. This one is one of those that is on the budget side. It is well constructed, all metallic, but with a price on the lower side. So if you are looking for a solution such as this and you don't want to break the bank, then this might be the option. Link will be down below. Talking about that really quickly, the unboxing experience, which is quite simple. We will find the KanaaN Matrix 6x2, and we also find a remote control, a user guide, which we will not need, and a power input. Now the power input, I left it right over here so I wouldn't forget. It has something which is really nice, not only on this device but on all of them. If I had the chance, I would choose this feature, which is if I plug here on a normal device, when we plug or when we just move the cable, it will remove, but here we have a safety screw, so I can pull it and it will not get out of it. Now at the back we will find the 6 inputs right over here, so 6 HDMI inputs that we can connect to our devices, PS5, Xbox, and so on and so forth, and we also have 2 outputs, so to 2 displays that we want, and we will see that in just a few moments. We also have the optical out and the 3.5mm jack output. At the front we will have a few buttons right over here and a few LEDs, which I will explain just now. In terms of build quality, all metallic. Regarding the remote control that it comes with, it's really simple to use, really useful. And let's go to a practical example so that I can share with you how we can deal with this matrix, how easy it is to use, and how easy it is to use the remote control. Now with an example set up for the KanaaN Matrix 6x2, which means, as we have seen, 6 different input sources and 2 outputs. So I can output to 2 TVs or 2 displays, and at this moment I'm controlling 2 computers as an example, but I've got 6 devices plugged in. As we will see right over here, I've got a Windows computer for display A, and I've got another Windows computer for display B. Have in mind, this is a matrix, it doesn't have KVM options, so I will need to use my dedicated mouse for this computer and my dedicated mouse for this computer, and so on and so forth. So matrix, not a KVM in this particular case. Now let's start with the interface right over here, and then we move on to the remote control, which is probably my favorite way of changing the sources of audio and also image. Now right over here I've got the first button, which is the audio input selector, so I can select if the audio will go to the source A or B just by pressing the button, and if I keep on pressing for 3 seconds, it will activate ARC if my device has ARC compatibility, which these two displays don't. Now right over here we have the different options of audio: 2.1, 5.1, 7.1 and ARC, and if I press the button it will have to refresh and see if it has the audio compatible to pass through, and in this particular case it will take a few seconds. Now have in mind that these displays are slow in terms of changing HDMI to DisplayPort and so on and so forth, these two LG displays. So it's not a problem with the matrix itself, it's with the TVs or with the displays. Now in terms of audio, we can also cycle through right over here as we did, and if we want to change the image, we have two buttons on the interface, one which is A representing the display A and one which is B representing the one that it's display B. So if I want to change the source for display A, I will control this button so I can cycle through. This is computer number 2, which is the one that is connected here, so it will just give me a mirror image, and if I press on the B side, it will change the one that it's right over here. So at this moment I've got device number 2 and device number 3, as we can see right over here. Now device number 3 is the Realme 4K, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, so I can control it with this remote control right over here, and we could put on a series or a movie and so on. So I'm exemplifying with these devices, but we can connect PlayStation and Xbox or any other device through HDMI and it will work just fine. So at this moment I've got the Chromecast from Google TV, and we can control it right over here, and if I press another button, it will give me the MacBook Pro with the M1 Pro, which is connected here as well. And if we cycle once again, we will go through the last device, which is a MacBook Air with the M1 CPU right over here. So we did cycle through all of them, and the only disadvantage that I see right over here on changing manually is that if I want to jump from 2 to 3, then that is just fine, it's quick. But if I want to jump from 3 to 6, I will need to press and press and press, and although it's not slow, and this also depends on the device that we are using, and on my test, on not only on this matrix, these displays are slow, but depends also the source signal. So if I change right over here to the Windows computer, as we can see, the time it's a little bit more than what we took from the MacBook Pro, and if we change to the Android side, it will take a little bit more as well. But this has nothing to do with the matrix, it has to do with the displays. Now the disadvantage is that one, but we can avoid that disadvantage by just using the remote control. So if I want to control the display A, I've got 6 sources right over here available, and if I want to control the display B, I've got other 6 sources, which are the same 6 sources of course, available right over here. And if I want to control the audio, I can change it right over here. So let's start with the audio. If I want to change from channel A to B, I can just press A or B and it will change right over there. If I want to change from 2.1 or 7.1 at this moment to 2.1 or 5.1, I can just press the button and it will go to 5.1 directly. And if we did change it manually, we would need to cycle from 7.1 to 2.1 and then 5.1. So it's a lot quicker this way. Now, in particular case of the display A, if I want to change to source number 1, which is the computer number 1, I can just press number 1 right over here on the Alt A, and it will give me the computer number 1 right over here. As we have seen, Windows takes a little bit more. And if I want to change this one to my MacBook Pro, which is on the 5th channel, I just need to press here number 5. So I went 1 backwards, and we saw that it's quite fast when we change from MacBook to MacBook Air and so on and so forth. So it's not only the display but also the source signal, as I was saying. And basically this is the way that we can work not only with the interface but also with the remote control, which in my opinion is the best way possible that we can, especially when we are moving from number 3 to number 1 or number 1 to number 6 and so on and so forth. And hopefully this part of the video explains a little bit better how we can use the KanaaN Matrix 6x2, and now we can use it with several devices that we have on our entertainment system. And that is as simple as this, just a plug and play, and we are ready to use it. So we can connect up to 6 devices, as you saw on this part of the video, up to 2 displays. Now I did share it here on my setup, but we can use this on anywhere of our house, or if you are on a corporate environment and you want to have 2 TVs showing different situations at different times from up to 6 different sources at the same time, we are covered on a budget. That being said, hope that the video was helpful in some way, and if it was, don't forget that usual thumbs up right over there, which is really appreciated on this side of the screen. My name is Roberto Jorge, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.